Hi, my name is Jane Howarth and I'm going to show you how to create a drawing for a fabric collage. And here I have an 8.5 by 11 photo of the dog I'm going to use, and that photo has been into a filter, so the contrast is a little bit better than the enlarged picture that I'm drawing on. That one is a 11 by 17 enlargement. Quite often I'll do 200%, this is probably about 150%. So what I originally did, I had a white pencil and I was picking out some of those dark areas, and that was just really as a guide. As I looked at that enlargement, the black areas, really I couldn't see them, so I did pick out that nostril and some of those lines. So now I can go over those with this Sharpie. The Sharpie I like to use drawing my patterns is the fine one, so that is the thicker of the two, so you get the ultra fine and the fine. So this fine one gives a thicker dark line, and that is enough for me to be able to see as I'm cutting my shapes with my fabric. So when I begin, I picked out some of those dark areas for the nose, and I'm working up on top of the nose, so picking out some of those shapes and the different colours I see, where it is dark, or some of those highlighted bits of fur that I can see. I do tend to jump around the pattern. Sometimes you're not sure which ones where to draw or where to go next, and so I like to pick out the obvious ones. So as I keep working, eventually it will all get filled in. And as I'm drawing my lines, I am creating shapes. So I'm thinking about creating shapes, and these would be different pieces of fabric. In collage, I like to use a lot of different fabrics, and so this enables me to do that. Some of those finer highlights of the fur, those pieces will be fussy cut and added on top. So I'll have larger shapes underneath and little fur pieces on top. Can be tricky working around the eyes, because like in this picture it is pretty dark. So I do like to give myself some guidelines of which pieces of fabric I'm going to cut out next. If you're a little unsure about doing this, you can draw some of these lines with pencil and then go back over with this Sharpie. But I like to tell my students to draw with a confident line. And as I'm drawing these lines, I'm really looking at the direction of the fur. If I wanted to do a larger pattern, I could use these lines. I could use tracing paper and transfer them, so I just end up with a line drawing and then get that enlarged. But this I'll probably make this as a small collage as it is. Again, I'm picking different areas where I can see and following the direction of the fur. As I say, if you've got a black dog, it can be hard, so in that case I would often use that white pencil or chalk to divide it up. And looking back at that original photo, that really does help me see some of the shapes better than on this enlarged photo. So now I've speeded up my drawing a little bit as I keep working in different areas as I see them. The ear was a little hard to pick out in this enlargement, but looking back at the original photograph, I could definitely see the shapes. Again, I don't want too many larger areas, so if I have a larger area, I would divide it following the line of the fur so I can use different fabrics. And these lines, you know, once I come to cut them in fabric, I don't necessarily have to follow all these lines. Some of them I could combine. The smaller ones I fussy cut, so I've got a lot of freedom cutting those shapes. I do like to define where the end of the front of the face is with the chin and the body behind, so I do like to define that line. So gradually you keep working and it'll all eventually all get filled in. As I said, those lines, you know, join up so they create shapes. So there's the completed drawing, and so I could put my pen over this and I'd be ready to start my collage. So thank you for watching.